So hi guys, this is CA Inter Audit Paper Analysis of May 2023, and I'm sure every one of you would have performed really well. Yes, the descriptive paper is with me. Anyhow, objective paper will not be released out, and I hope objective paper is also good. That's what many are mentioning me. Like based on the sources, whatever the students whoever interacted with me in the past one and a half hour, I can say that the paper is not very easy, beyond easy. I mean above easy, between below moderate, or I can classify this as a moderate paper, but no question of difficult at all. There is no question of difficult. This is absolutely a moderate and below moderate paper. But the thing is, I also felt the questions were little lengthy. But I don't think you are supposed to answer full-fledged detailed answers. Most of the questions were tested either for 3 marks or 4 marks. I told even in the marathon also, everywhere I always tell that you just have to write 3 points or 4 points, 3 points or 4 points. If at all you sincerely prepared in such a manner, you could have definitely rocked this paper. Now, anyhow, straight away, let me analyze the paper. Then I will then I will discuss at the end of the video about the strategy which I followed, about the strategy which I suggested you. Whoever have followed this particular audit strategy definitely can attempt in this descriptive paper minimum for 50 to 55 marks. Getting it easily would have attempted 50 to 55 marks. And in this particular descriptive paper, only one chapter I feel it is not tested, that is nature, objective and scope of audit. Invoice audit is not tested. Every time from invoice audit there will be a question I did not find, maybe I would have overlooked. Maybe now I'm doing video right while along with you, while you are watching, maybe probably I may discover any new question on that, but I don't think there is a question on invoice. Probably on invoice audit you might have got questions in MCQs. Probably almost every chapter is tested. I don't find any chapter or any topic that is ignored in this particular paper. So comprehensively, neatly covered almost all key topics. Getting it? Yeah, fine. The first one. So let's look at correct or incorrect questions. The first one. So the documentation of overall audit strategy is a record of key decisions of planning and communication with the engagement team. So this is a straight question there in the book. I can show you like just a minute. Overall audit strategy documentation of overall audit. So I think this is in a minute. This is in this one audit strategy chapter. This is an audit strategy chapter. So 117. So somewhere around 125th page you will find the exact sentence in the book. You can see here. Write about documentation of overall audit strategy. Documentation of overall audit strategy is a record of key decisions regarding planning of the audit and communications with engagement team. It is an evidence that audit is properly planned and performed. But what they gave here, documentation of overall audit strategy is a record of audit evidences considered necessary. This is audit documentation definition. What they gave is documentation definition, but what they're asking is documentation of overall audit strategy means what? Specific documentation question, which is actually in the audit strategy chapter. Okay, so this statement is incorrect. This statement is incorrect, and you have to write this particular sentence. Okay, next this is the material which is applicable for November and May upcoming. We just changed the footer. This is the same material which is applied for November 22 and May 23. Same material. Very recently footer has been changed. So that's why I'm just showing you. Okay, next. Communicating key audit matters in audit report is a separate opinion. Incorrect. Communicating key audit matter in audit report is not a separate opinion. Communicating key audit matter in the audit report is not a substitute for modified opinion. Is not a substitute for a requirement as per applicable framework. It's a straight question. Okay, so this is incorrect. This is incorrect. Amortization represents a systematic allocation of depreciable amount on PPE. On PPE, whatever allocation we call, it is called as depreciation, not amortization. Amortization word is used on intangible assets. So they tested on the definition part. I think this is also incorrect, and many of the students would have wrote correctly. So most 90% of the students would have wrote B point correctly. 90% of the students would have wrote C point also correctly. And I'm very happy that whatever points I stressed in the marathon, even I have uploaded yesterday and day before the marathons, and I've uploaded 3 months ago 2 parts of marathon of 22 hours. Most of these points were covered. Next. As per section 142, remuneration of auditor include any facility. Yes, it is correct. Absolutely correct. So remuneration of auditor includes any facility extended to him, any reimbursement of expenses given to him, all that section 142 point they have asked, which is correct. Appropriateness is a measure of quantity. Wrong. It's a measure of quality. Sufficiency is a measure of quantity. I think this is a very easy question. So the answer is incorrect and you need to write that answer. Analytical procedures are used in all stages of audit, which is correct, by experienced auditor. Wrong. There is no question of experienced auditor. So you need to write the definition of analytical procedure or objective of analytical procedure and mention that analytical procedures are used during the planning stage, execution phase and conclusion phase of an audit. Analytical procedures are used throughout the audit, at the time of planning, at the time of performance, at the time of conclusion, all the 3 stages by any auditor. There is no specific term called experienced auditor. So you have to write that and mention the objective of analytical or definition of analytical. Anything you can write. I don't know what the suggested answer or the paper setter have thought exactly. He may be giving in the suggested answer objective or he may be giving definition. Whether you write objective or definition, I hope you will get the marks. So that's it. The word experienced auditor is used in documentation chapter. Manner of documentation. Inside that, experienced auditor word is used. It is not used anywhere in the analytical procedure. Anyhow, this particular statement is incorrect. I have mentioned already answers here. Sorry. In case of corporate society, contribution to education fund is a charge on the profit and not an appropriation. Even in the society's audit marathon. So it is correct. Absolutely. The statement is correct. Every society, in some state laws, societies are liable to contribute to education fund at a percentage specified by the state government. Okay, and this is a charge against the profit and not an appropriation. Next, if a company uses an integrated enterprise software, then it is considered less complex and easy to audit. This is wrong. So when a company is using more information systems, integrated softwares, the audit process will become very complex. So the statement is incorrect. The statement is incorrect. So you need to mention that the audit becomes complex. The auditor has to understand the systems, all that, and he has to do audit through the system, which is a complicated process compared to the traditional audit methodologies. Next, question number 2. Nothing such. While designing an audit sample, auditor shall determine a sample. So this is regarding simply what is sampling risk, what is non-sampling risk. You can find in my book part number 2, page number 95. Very simple. Here I have given references in my book directly. So here I have given which is the part, what is the page number. You can directly go there. You will find a straight question on this. So like if you open website, so rest of us CA and CMA, you just open resources. You just open CA Inter. The material is free. PDF is free. So here paper 6 you select. Auditing we have 3 parts material, 1, 2, 3, smart notes, all that. So you just download and see the concerned page number. I don't want to waste much of your time as the paper is not so difficult, not so uncrackable. So since the paper is very moderate, I'm just doing a very basic paper analysis video. I will come up with a suggested answers video very clearly after exams were completed. Okay. Next. So everyone, like almost whoever is there in my YouTube channel, especially whoever have subscribed, whoever is frequently watching my audit classes, most of them are using especially the material given by me. So every question, every concept, whatever is tested is a straight sentences picked from the material. Next, you are appointed as an auditor. So here they're asking what is audit risk with an example. Also guide him what is not included in audit risk. It's a risk assessment chapter in our material. First question, page number 48 in part 2 of the material. What is audit risk? What is not included in audit risk? This point, in fact, we will discuss in the documentation chapter also, at the beginning of the documentation chapter. During the course of audit, this is regarding fraud, 25 lakhs worth of fraud. Since the amount of fraud is less than 1 crore, it has to be reported to board of directors. Okay, and disclosure requirements in board report. You just have to mention that it has to be reported to board of directors, and the board of directors has to report in the board of directors report what is the nature of the fraud, what is the amount involved, what the persons involved, what action taken by them. 4 points were there. No, that is the key point tested in this. You have to report to board of directors. What you have to report to board of directors? What is the amount involved? What is the nature of fraud? Who are the persons? What directors have to report in the directors report? What is the nature of fraud? What is the amount involved? Who are the persons? What action they have taken? The fourth point is important. So that is what mainly tested here. So it is there in the page number 60 of the part 1 of the book. Next, multi-state corporate societies. There is a chartered accountant who is a manager of the society. He is proposed to be appointed as an auditor of the same society. Disqualifications of corporate society. An officer of the society, employee of the society is disqualified to be appointed as an auditor of the society. Page number 122, part 1 material. So it's a very easy question. What are the circumstances when a modifications to auditor's opinion is required? What are the factors for making the decision regarding which type of modified opinion? This is something which we stressed a lot in the marathon also. The factors for deciding which type of modified opinion depends upon what is the nature of, what is the reason. Is it because of material misstatement or is it because of non-availability of evidence? Then second factor is pervasiveness of the impact on the financial statements. These are the factors. So that point, which is straight away page number 84, part 1 of our material. You can see this in the marathon also. This is essay 705 question. Getting it? Management is often in a best position to perpetrate fraud. As an auditor, you are suspecting some fraud from the management. Give any 3 examples of others within the entity. This is actually risk assessment chapter, part 2 of my material, page number 54. Straight away, you can find this word, inquiries of management and others within the entity. You will find a straight sentence in my book. Next. An auditor has to exercise professional judgment in determining materiality. Fine. What are the factors that may help in identification of benchmarks? Okay, so clearly explained, clear question is there again in our book, page number 129, part number 2. Straight questions. See, mostly, I don't cut short the sentences, all that. I try to keep, I say, whatever the standard they expect, I try to keep the same standard. I try to bring students to that standard. I don't make the material to the student standard. I try to bring student to the material standard. This is what I follow. Getting it? So especially whoever have followed our classes and marathon, I think you have clearly evidenced that you would have clearly felt that impact in the today's exam. Okay, and yeah, paper is not difficult. It's moderate. Anybody whoever sincerely studied at least 70% of the chapters, 70-80% of the chapters can attempt in this descriptive paper 50 plus with perfection. And in objective paper, anyhow, if you listen to all the topics at least once, you can attempt the entire objective paper. Fine. This is a question on data analytics, which is there in our material, page 142, part 2. So they're asking, while auditing automated environment, how data analytics is used. So how auditor uses data analytics for recomputation, for checking of balances, all that. Next one, paper is not that difficult. As many of you feel, the paper is not that difficult. That's the reason I'm hurrying up the this particular paper analysis video. It's only analysis video. I'm not giving suggested answers right away. I'll give suggested answers after all the exams are completed. Probably after 15-20 days, I'll be giving it. Okay. Anyhow, I'm showing you straight questions in our book. You can directly open. You can directly find the exact sentences, all that. Now here, the auditor wants to send external confirmation, but management is refusing. There is a clear side heading in our book, essay 505, refusal by management to allow external confirmation. What auditor shall do? Auditor shall ask reasons why management is refusing. Try to obtain evidence, alternative procedures. If management refusal is unreasonable or alternative procedures are unable to provide sufficient appropriate evidence, the auditor has to modify the opinion. That's it. Management has issued shares at discount to creditors. Issuing shares at discount is prohibited only in one case, only in a scheme of, maybe in a court. This is actually an amendment in RTP. You just open my RTP video. In the first 10-15 minutes, I think this is what I spoke. Now a company can issue shares at discount only in a case of arrangement entered into with a bank for non-repayment of loan, defaults, all that. X Limited, so to a creditor we cannot give. Getting it? So you need to write that amendment which has happened. Now, X Limited is a hardware manufacturing. At each and every stage of production process, large amount of scrap is generated. Scrap point I have covered in items of financial statements, where I have taken ICI study material and explained in the marathon. 2.5 hours marathon is there. Inside that scrap point is also covered. CAQ, the auditor of XYZ, while conducting audit, observed that company has made various provisions in the books of account. This exact point I have covered in the marathon also. In items of financial statements, the 2.5 hours marathon, I have specifically covered on this. So it's again, items of financial statements. For items of financial statements, mainly we follow ICI material. even in a regular class also, though I have my own material, but in my material I have not covered comprehensively. So always I discuss from icai material also with the students. Next, CAD has been appointed as an auditor. Before developing an overall audit plan, CAD wants to get an understanding and knowledge of client's business, including applicable framework. Straight question is there. Page number 2, question number 28, page number 113, part number 2 of material, page number 113, question number 28. Straight question. Next. Part number 2, what is the page number? 113, right? Sorry. What is this? Page number 113. Yeah, in this you will find here 28th question. Yeah, this one. Auditor shall obtain knowledge of client business, including applicable financial reporting framework. This is the what? This question only tested. I told no, like almost straight questions. If at all anybody who ever followed ICS study material, believe me, you would have rocked this paper, or even the material which I gave, because I give 99%, almost I can say more than 90% my material is as per ICA book. Getting it? That's the reason I don't want to deviate, because if you read at that level in exam also you can handle with easily. If at all you followed any short materials, all that you cannot do well. That's the reason. That's why I don't recommend short notes, colored notes, flow chart materials, nothing. Especially this paper will be difficult for those who followed flowchart materials, because in flowchart materials these kinds of topics will not be covered. ABC is a public company which has availed various loans and cash credit facilities from banks and other FIs. The company has defaulted in repayment. This is clause number 9 question in Caro. You just have to write clause number 9, default in repayment of dues. Lender wise, default has to be reported by the auditor. Name of the lender, amount defaulted, period defaulted, all that. The reliability of data is influenced by its source and nature. Explain the factors that are relevant when determining. You just see analytical procedure marathon is there. Inside that I have covered this. Anyhow, in our book, page number 112, part number 2. In analytical procedure chapter, some 6th or 7th or 8th question, it is straight question. As a part of risk assessment, the auditor shall determine whether any risks identified or significant risk. What are the factors so that will affect the auditor whether they are significant risk or not? So question number 19 in our part 2 material, page number 64. Straight questions. Most of the questions are straight from the CA material, ICA material. This is clearly covered in even my marathon, SA 570. You know, SA 705 is tested, 701 is tested, 570 is tested, 505 is tested. Almost whatever topics I have covered in the marathon this time, almost most of them were tested. So this is 570 question directly. We have in our book also this kind of side headings. If financial statement discloses the fact, what to report. If financial statements are not properly disclosing the fact, what to report. So exactly we discussed. Then audit committee applicability provision. Since turnover is more than 100 crore and capital is more than 10 crore, audit committee is applicable for this company. You just have to write applicability of audit committee and then ask. See, logically they should not test all these kinds of questions. Why to test amounts and all? How it is useful in the career of the student? This is regarding performance audit question. This is regarding performance audit question. You just have to write what is performance audit, what it includes. Question number part 3 of my material, page number 64. A Limited has availed cash credit facility. Here the question is very simple. What is drawing power and what is sanction limit? You just have to write drawing power, sanction limit, and what are the rules for computation of drawing power. Straight question in our book. Page number 50, question number 18, part number 3. In fact, day before yesterday, I have uploaded bank audit is the first marathon which I have uploaded day before yesterday. Public charitable trust, how to do audit of expenditure. Page number 79, part number 3 of the material. See, in this paper, nothing much to comment. Most of the questions are straight questions. If at all you have followed the strategy, whatever I told, the priority 1 chapters, damn sure I'm telling you, 50 plus marks you can attempt in this paper perfectly. Hardly you will not be able to attempt 15-16 marks. That's what 70% preparation strategy. See, It is always easy to tell prepare 100% syllabus, but I considering the students mindset, considering various other subjects is preparing, not just audit, various other subjects, various other burdens is having. So I always recommend 2/3 preparation strategy. What is 2/3 preparation strategy? Pick some chapters, ignore the chapters, rest of the chapters 100% you have to study. That's why I never give ABC analysis questions in each chapter. That is very dangerous. The ABC analysis approach is very dangerous. Best example is in risk assessment chapter. This is C category question in most of the authors book. This is tested C category question. Suppose if you ignore risk assessment completely, okay, hardly some 6 or 7 marks you will lose. One question you will give, one question in who you will take it as choice. From the remaining questions, maybe 3 to 6 marks only would have been tested in risk assessment. Some 3 to 6 marks only would have been tested in audit strategy. Some 3 to 6 marks only would have been tested in automated environment. Hardly you will be losing 15 to 16 marks. In this paper you cannot attempt. Rest 50 plus marks you can attempt perfectly. And in the objective paper you could have attempted 25 plus. As the whole, 80 plus marks can be attempted comfortably if at all you prepared 70% preparation strategy, which I always recommend. So anyhow, I'm really happy that many of you would have performed really well, and definitely you will be very, very enthusiastic. With lots of enthusiasm, you'll be planning for the next attempt. Next exam, EASSM. All the very best for the next paper, EASSM. Just stop discussing about this audit paper further. Happily focus on EASSM paper. Definitely, whatever you have presented, you will score better than what you expected. And I felt this paper is obviously, yes, little lengthy, because most of the questions were too descriptive. Getting it? So almost every chapter is tested. So nature, objective and scope not tested. Audit report, in my book order, audit report tested almost many questions. 701 is tested, 570 is tested. This one 701, 570, 705 is tested. Caro is tested. I always tell audit report is very important. In fact, in marathon, I give major emphasis on audit report, items of financials, like these chapters. Next, from items of financials this time, what is tested is only scrap is tested, and provisions is what tested, and 2 marks MCQs, depreciation point is tested. Shares issued at discount, that is also tested. So these are all items of financial statements question. You see the order in which I uploaded the videos in the past 2 days, same I followed. Then audit report is tested. Company audit is tested. Audit committee provision is part of company audit. Then societies audit is tested. Documentation chapter is tested. Then fraud chapter is not tested. Fraud is one more chapter which is fraud. That chapter is not tested. Risk assessment is tested. Sampling, analytical procedure, audit strategy, bank audit, different types of entities, charitable institute, government audit. Almost every chapter got tested. Okay, fine. So I'm very happy that every one of you have performed really well. All the very best for the next exam. Bye.